Okay, so now that we have our GUI in place, let's go ahead and write some scripts and get some character creation going on. I'm going to add a new empty object out here that I'm going to call character. And that's where I'm going to be attaching these scripts that I'm going to make. So I'm going to need 3 scripts. One is going to be where I'm going to keep all my basic attributes. I'm going to call that one character, if I can spell. Character attributes. And then I'm also going to have a right click and a create C# script. And this, I'm going to have a script that does the actual grunt work for generating a character. And I'm going to have one more script, C# script, that is going to be my UI handler. And this is where I'm going to put all the code that's going to respond to user input buttons. So I'm going to go ahead and attach these to my character thing out there. So that way I don't have to worry about accidentally not having them attached. There they are, and we're off and going. So let's start off with our character attributes and go ahead and get our attributes into here so that we can access them. I'm not going to need start or update, like so. All right, and I'm going to use enumerators. So let's see, yeah, right about there. So public, so that they can be accessed by other things. Public enum base attributes. Let's see, what attributes do we have? We have a strength, we have a constitution, we have a dexterity, and an intelligence, and a wisdom, and finally a charisma. And a semicolon right there. And then we have a public enum races, where we have a gnome and a dwarf and a drow and an elf, half elf, halfling, human, and half orc. And a semicolon to end that enumerator. And one more, public enum classes, where we have a cleric, a fighter, a paladin, a ranger, a rogue, a warlock, and a wizard, and a warlord. So a warlock, a wizard, and a warlord. And a semicolon to end that one. There we go. So our character attributes are all set up. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off just by getting the ability to switch back and forth between race. So that's what I'm going to start off with. So in character generator here, I also don't need this start or this update. I am, however, going to need a public character attributes dot races my race, and a public character character attributes dot classes my class. Okay, that's pretty straightforward, I think. And I need to initialize these. Now I could do this in start, but instead I'm going to have my UI handler. When it starts, I'm going to have it call stuff over here inside my character generator to get it to basically initialize my character. So how's that going to look? Well, we're going to need a public void, and I'm going to call this probably like init character is probably going to be a good name for it. So let's do init. Actually, let's go with init character generator to kind of help reinforce that it is initializing this whole process. And really what it's going to do is it's going to go ahead and initialize. So I'm going to be working on race and classes, but first I just want to work on the race. So my race is going to equal character attributes dot races. What do we want to initialize this to? Races dot let's go human. All right, so we're going to initialize that to human. Okay, and that's my race. Cool. Let's go to our UI handler. And inside our start here, well, first we're going to need a reference to our character generator. Now this can be private because it's only going to be seen here. My char generator. Nope, I don't know why I hit tab. That was kind of dumb. My char generator. There we go. And inside my start, I'm going to go ahead and do my char generator equals, and I'm using get component because the character generator that I want to get is attached to the same object there. And then I can do a my char generator dot init char generator to have it go ahead and initialize some stuff. Now, after that, I need to start thinking about updating my UI so that the UI, the information that is contained on my UI and what's visible there is accurate. So that's something I'm going to have to pay attention to, just to make sure that, nothing gets out of whack. So I might want to go ahead at this point and just, like right here after this, just update the UI. So yeah, right here, let's just do an update UI. And I haven't written that method yet, but I'm going to. I'm not going to use this update here for anything. There we go. So I will only update the UI when I actually need to. So let's do a void update UI, like so. And what I'm going to do inside this UI update is I'm going to update the information that is on the screen based upon whatever I need to change. So let's see. I'm going to go ahead and do I'm going to need some variables. I'm going to need variables for all the stuff that can change. What does that mean? All these values here that can change, I need variables for those. So let's go ahead and create those variables. I'm going to make them public so that way I can just kind of drag and drop in there as opposed to having to go find them and whatnot. So yeah, I'll just make them public here. I'm going to need to do a using Unity engine.ui, like so. And then right here, I'll just do a public text, and I'm just going to start entering them. So I'm going to say race text, comma, class text. Those are the first two I'm kind of playing around with. Now, we can go ahead and add in some more if we'd like to. It's kind of up to us, but I think maybe it'd probably be a good idea while I'm here just to do this public text. So I'm going to do a strength value and a dex value. These will all be for the primary attributes. And a con value, a charisma value, a wisdom value, and finally an intelligence value. Then I'll do one more section, public text, and this will be for my HP value, my fortitude value, my reflex value, and my will value. There we go. So now I've got all of those, and that should be all we're going to need at the moment. So inside my update UI, I will keep adding to this as I get more stuff functional. But for right now, all I'm going to do with the update UI is just go ahead and update the race information. So I'll say race text is going to equal my char generator dot my race dot toString, like so. Okay. Let's come back here. Dot text. There we go. This I needed to get to the inner value of it right there. So that should get that working. Let's see. Yeah, let's go ahead and let's see what happens. Let's double check this stuff. See if we're off on the right path so far. Go over here to character. Okay, I need to assign these things, so let's get that taken care of. So in Canvas, and these are going to be values. So that'll be, where are my values? Right in here. So I've got a strength value goes there. I've got a constitution value goes there. A dexterity value goes there. A charisma value goes there. A wisdom value goes there. Intelligence value goes there. Class value goes there. Race value goes there. And then I've got these defense ones, which are going to be my will value goes there. Reflex value will go there. Fortitude value goes there. And HP value. Okay, so those are all assigned. So I'm curious to see if my race will change to human. Isn't that what we defaulted it to? Just to double check, it should be. Yep. So let's see what happens. And also, does this change to human? That'd be really nice if it does. So let's see, what do we have? Human. Cool. Looks like I probably want to center that, but we'll worry about that later. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to get my plus and minus buttons working here. And once I have those working, well, I just duplicate the code for my class, and that'll work too. So that's, let's go ahead and get some of this going then. All right. So here in my character generator, I'm going to need something in here that is going to allow me to change my race. So I'll do a public void, and I'm going to call this change race, and I'm going to have a bool in here as to whether or not I'm going to the next one or the previous one. Okay. Now the way that this is going to work, and I should probably load up Photoshop and diagram it out, but basically, let's do it this way. So, no, let's not do it this way. Let's do it this way. So I'm going to be going through these races here, right? And as I iterate through them, so let's say my current race is human. Once I find where I am in this enumeration, in this enumerator here, I want to be the next one, so I can have a Boolean value that I go through these until I find it, until I find where I am, set that value to true, go to the next one as I'm iterating through, and then I set my race equal to the next one. If I'm the last one here, if I'm a half orc, then I want to reset back here. So that's essentially what I'm going to be doing here. And the way I'm going to do this, I'm going to use a bool. I'm going to call this found it, and I'm going to set it to false by default. And then I'm going to create a for each loop to go through everything. So for each character attributes dot races this race in, and the way that we enumerate through things through a an enumerator. Yeah, the way iterate. That's what I was saying, enumerate. Yeah, the way that we iterate through this so that we can get what we're after is going to be through system.enum. So this will be a system dot enum, right? Yeah, dot enum dot get values. So we're going to get the values of what we're after, and the values that we're after are going to be of type character attributes dot races. There we go. Okay, now I've got enough parentheses. All right. So if found it. So if found it equals true, I'm going to do some stuff. Else, if my race equals this race, found it equals true. So here's what goes on. Remember that example I was just showing you. So I'm human. So this race is gnome. Is gnome and human the same? No. So it keeps going until it hits human, and human is the same. Once it does that, it sets the found it to be true, so that the next time I come into this, next time I iterate through this for each, this is going to be true and it's going to do some stuff. Well, what I want to do is right away turn this off, if I could spell, so that way it does not do it again. Okay, so what do I want to do here? Well, I'm going to change my race. My race equals this race. And I'm also done. So I'll do a break. We don't need to do any more iterating. I need one final thing here, though. Outside of my for each loop, I'm going to need a possibility if, and this possibility is catching the possibility that I was half work, that I got to the end of it. That's when I found it. There was no other, so I never came back into here. So if found it equals true, then my race equals 0, which what that does is it sets my race equal to the first one in my enumerator. All right, so pretty nice there. Now this is going forward. This is looking at the next one. So I need to put all of that inside an if go next, like so. Come down here to right there. So all of that takes care of going to the next one. There we go. I was missing a curly brace. Now we need an else, and this is doing our previous button. Well, we're going to do a lot of the exact same thing. So I'm just going to take all that code and paste it down here, except a couple of minor differences. This time, we're going to have to, as we iterate through this, we're going to do this just a little bit differently. So let's do a int last value is going to be equal to system.enum.getValues, not name, get values. Wish I could type of character attributes dot races dot length -1. Okay, so here's what we're doing. This is going to be an enumeration, right? And it's going to be an enumeration of all the values that are inside this. Length is going to be the total number of things there are, -1. So if there are 4 things, as far as an index, the last value would be 3, not 4. So we're going to go ahead and store that right there, so that way we know what we want to do. And we should be able to just go ahead and start doing some stuff here. So here we have our for each, where we're going to go through everything, and we're going to say, yeah, we're going to do this differently inside here because this went very cleanly to the next one. In this case, if found it is still true when we get outside here, my race is going to equal last value. That should catch it. And probably are not actually going to need to do it that way because we're going to be using this last value right here. So yeah, let's go ahead and chuck that. Blink. There we go. Okay, so we're going to iterate through this. And the way that we're going to iterate through here, we're going to go ahead and we're going to say if my race equals this race, okay? So if my race equals this race, and actually we could do, we could do some of this stuff up there as well. It's kind of 2 different ways of going about this. So if my race equals this race, then what we want is we want my race to equal 1 less of where we're currently at. So my race will equal 1 less of where we're at. Well, where are we at? We're going to have to figure that one out. So equals, let's just do, I'm going to do -1 for right now, just to kind of let me know what it is I'm wanting to do here. And then I'm going to break out of here because I found it and I don't want to do it again. So what I need to do is I need to actually store the previous race, or I need to store the previous race. Or I'm sorry, not this previous race. I need to store the last race here. So let's go ahead and, yeah, I know I'm not making much sense. Character attributes dot races. I'm going to say last race equals last value. But I'm going to take last value and I'm going to cast it as a character, wish I didn't do it that way. Character, you're going to make me type. Okay. Give me space right there. There we go. I'm going to cast it as a character attributes dot races, like so. Okay, so my last race is going to be the last value cast as a character attributes races. There we go. So what that means is right here, I can say u equal last race. So as I iterate through this, there we go. And I want to do one final thing here. And this one final thing down here is going to be previous last race equals this race. Okay, so let's take a look at this. So we're going backwards. So I'm going to start off, I'm an elf this time, right? So I'm going to start off by setting last race equal to half orc. Okay, that's what this line is doing right here. Now I come in here. So the first time this race is now gnome. Does my race, which is elf, equal gnome? No, it does not. Okay, then last race equals gnome. All right, then we do dwarf. Okay, it doesn't equal that. Okay, last race equals dwarf. Then we do drow. It doesn't equal that. Okay, last race equals drow. Then we do elf. Oh, it does equal that. Yes, my race is elf. Okay, so therefore my race equals last race, which I just said is drow. Break, we're out of there. Okay, so this should fluctuate back and forth through these. So let's come over here to our code here, to our UI handler, and let's do a public void. What do I want to call this one? This is going to be when we click the next race. So what I'm thinking, next race clicked. That sound good to you? Yeah, next race clicked, like so. And what we're going to do in here is we're going to go ahead and my char generator dot change race true, go next. And then we're going to go ahead and update my UI. So let's just do an update UI, like so. Okay, let's do the same thing for a public void. Let's prev race clicked. My char generator dot change race false. Go to the previous one and update UI. Boom. Let's see if this works. So come down here, give this a second. Let's open up our buttons and let's go find not load save, race next. There we go. Scroll down in our list here. Let's do a plus. For my object here, I'm going to go to search and I'm going to use my character. There it is. Do no function is going to drop down and go to character UI handler, and this is going to be next race clicked. All right, let's go to race previous button and do the same thing here. Add a listener, blink, doink, kerpow, UI handler, previous race clicked. There we go. Let's go ahead and save our scene. All right, what happens? Human, half orc, gnome, dwarf, drow, half elf. Should go back to elf. It did. Drow. Haha. Works. Cool. All right, so let's do the same thing. So stop. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back to a character generator. Come up here to the top. I do have my class, so let's go ahead and initialize my class equals character attributes dot classes dot what do we want to go with? I'm going to go with a ranger. So I'm going to initialize that one. All right. And this code, I want to copy it. Boom. Control C. And this is going to become Control V. Change class. There we go. Found it. Okay. This is going to be called classes. Just make a couple of minor changes in here. This class, get value, classes. Come over here. This class. This class. Can't be my race. It has to be my class. My class. Scroll down. Get values from classes. Get classes, last class, and you are classes. Oops, there we go. All right, and then you are going to become this class. You are going to become classes. Classes. Come over this way. My class. My class. Last class. This class. Last class. And this class. All right, let's go back to our UI handler now. Let's do a race class.text equals my, I'm just adding this into our update UI there. My class, I'll fix, yeah, I see the typo, I'll fix it in just a second. There we go, go home. And this is actually, I don't know why I said race class. This is actually class text. There we go. All right, let's copy these. Control C. Control V. This is going to be next class clicked. This is going to be change class. This is going to be previous class clicked. And then we're going to go into our scene and add that. Okay. All right. So what do we have? Let's go into our scene and class next button. Add you. Boink. Doink. Character. Good. Drop down right here. UI handler. Next class clicked. And class prev clicked. Boink. Doink. Pow. Character. And UI handler. And is this next? This is previous. Previous class clicked. All right. Let's save our scene. What do we have? Ranger, Rogue, Warlock, Wizard, Warlock, Rogue, Ranger. Haha! All these are working. So now all we need to do is get it to where it updates all of these values based upon what these are and kind of have that documented what I need. So they're all going to start off with this, and then they're going to, based upon what class they are and what race they are. So the race is going to get a bonus to certain things, and then the class will add slight other bonuses to other things as well. Hit points, fortitude, and that kind of stuff. So that will be the next step, is to kind of take that on. Yeah, so got the backbone in place. Haha, cool. Alrighty. Let's see, let's pause this for a second. Losing my voice. Okay, hopefully that will keep my voice going through the last little stretch as we come down the final bit here. Let's see. Yeah, we should be coming down the last little stretch here, I'm pretty sure. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start off with, I'm going to worry about these attributes and do the defense ones later. So coming back into my code here, my character generator. Okay, so my class and my change class and my change races works. That's nice. I'm going to go ahead and add in a little private thing here. Void. Let's see. How about void initialize attributes maybe? Init attributes. And basically, the real purpose of this little chunk of code that I'm about to do is to initialize a dictionary that's going to be holding my attributes to make sure that I've got things that I need. So yeah, initialize attributes like so, point point, and it will be right there. Okay, so I'm gonna need a dictionary that is going to be holding my attributes. So public, wish I could spell, public dictionary. And the way a dictionary works is it has a key and it has value. You can think of this as a word and its definition, or in my case, an attribute and its value. So I will have a character attributes dot base attributes and an integer value. And I will call this dictionary my attributes. Okay, cool. And then down here inside my init character generator, I'm going to go ahead and do a my attributes equals new dictionary like so. Boom, boom. There we go. And then I'm going to go through and initialize my attributes. Boink. Now, I actually want to do this before. No, I'm fine there. Yeah, then I'll initialize my attributes. So what I'm going to do inside my initialization of my attributes is I'm going to iterate through this. So I'll do a for each character attributes dot base attribute this attrib in system dot enum dot get seriously dot enum dot get values type of character attributes dot base attribute, same thing we used before as far as races and classes. And what I need to do here is I need to check to see if if the dictionary already has a value, in which case I'll replace it. Does the dictionary already have this attribute in it, in which case just replace the integer value. If it does not, then I need to add this attribute plus the integer value in there. So let's do if my attributes dot contains key this attrib. Do we have that in there? If I do, then I'm going to say my attribs this attrib. Nope, get out of the way. Equals base value. I do not have a base value. I need to have a base value. So let's come up here. Int base value equals 10. Cool. And then down here I will say else. Okay, it was not in there, so I need to add it. So my attributes dot add, and what I'm going to add is going to be this attribute. That's going to be the key, and the integer value will be base value. Okay, so that is going to initialize my dictionary. So that is a good thing there. My dictionary is initialized, ready to go. So let's go ahead and go through and start setting up everything for our values. What do you want to use? I'm going to call it check race. So I'll say public void check race. And basically, whenever we change our race, this is what we're going to call this method, and we're going to go through and we're going to adjust our base values, our attribute values, depending on this. I just ran over my microphone cord. That's not cool. There we are. Okay. Let's do this with a switch statement because I think that's probably going to work out pretty easily. So I will start off. First thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and reinitialize all my attributes. I want to set them back to whatever their base value is because I don't know, maybe we've changed race a couple times. So I'm going to go ahead and reset to my base value, and now I'll do a switch my race like so, and boom, and drop into here. Now I'm going to do a case character attributes dot base attributes base attributes, that's stupid, dot race. I'm switching on race dot race dot. Let's start with drow. Sure, why not? We'll start with drow. Actually, let's start with gnome. Okay, so what's going to happen? Well, we're going to go ahead and make some minor adjustments here. So, and basically, I'm going to be pulling all of these off of this over here. Gnome is going to get +2 to intelligence and +2 to dexterity, I guess. Sure, why not? I mean, it doesn't really matter. You can make these up, do whatever you want with these. But yeah, so, and I'm actually going to match what's in the rest of the videos, so it might not even match that little paper I was just showing you. Okay, so here we go. My attributes bracket. Which attribute are we wanting to change? Dot base attributes dot. I'm going to change intelligence. Is going to become +=2. Cool. And then I'll do my attributes, character attributes dot base attributes dot wisdom is going to be also going to have 2 added to it. And then I'm going to go after that. I'm going to go ahead and do a break like so. Now I could add a debug log, or yeah, let's do a default. If I could spell default, there we go. Link debug.log error. What error do we want to say? Race not found. There we go. Odds of being in here are about 0, but let's throw it in there anyway. Okay, so now what I need to do is I just need to keep doing this for all my others. So instead of having you watch me just do a bunch of copy and pasting or a bunch of retyping, I'm going to go ahead and pause this and get back to you in just. Okay, we've got all those typed in. Now human, I decided that human is going to be one where they're allowed to, one random attribute is going to get a +1 to it. That's what's going to happen for humans. So how are we going to be able to find a random one? Well, let's take a look at this. So we can do we're going to need to get a random number. So let's go ahead and here we go. Let's do an int random equals random dot range, and this range is going to be between 0 and system dot enum dot get values, not name, values, parenthesis, type of, character attributes dot base attributes, and dot length. So the length of that, semicolon. All right, so that gives us a random value between 0 and whatever maximum size we can have there. And then we'll just do my attributes. And inside here, we're going to do we're going to cast this character attributes dot base attributes ran. So we're going to cast that random value as one of these. And what we're going to do to that is we're going to add 2 to that, +=2. There we go. Okay, so we should now be successfully changing our race. So the question now becomes, where do we want to actually implement a call to this? And there's a couple of places we could do it. One that might seem the more intuitive would be whenever we change. So whenever we change race right down here. So we've changed race. So right here, let's make a call to check race. And let's see what happens. So let's go back here and let's see what happens here. Play. There we go. Change our race. Well, notice we're not getting any updates there. So I wonder why that is. Well, if we come over here into our UI handler and look in the update UI, you'll see that we're not updating anything. So let's go ahead and update these. str value dot text equals my chart generator dot my attributes. Oh, wrong button. Like so. Character attributes dot base attributes dot strength. Blink dot to string. Okay, that'll work. Now we're just going to have to, instead of typing all that, I'm just going to do a Control C, like so. Blink. So this is going to become Dex, and I'll fix this in here in just a second. No, I'll go ahead and do it now. Dexterity. Okay, so I'm going to go through and get all those changed and set up. We'll be right back. Alrighty, they are typed in. What's going to happen now? Let's find out. Let's see if that got that going. Still not really doing anything, huh? Alright, let's see. Let's start taking a look at some stuff here. Let's see, update UI. Let's go over here to character generator, initialize my attributes. So I check my race. Change class. Change race. Let's look at change race here real quick. Well, I call it right down here. And then we come up here and we do our adjustments to it. And then after we do our adjustments, well, that is interestingly odd. Sure seems like this should be working. I must be missing something incredibly stupid and simple. Did I not save that? I wonder if that's what it is. Play. Yep, I hadn't saved it. Okay, so there you go. You can see we're changing values. Nice. Now the only thing is it's not doing it initially with the first one, but we just do a check race. Go to our character generator. And in our character generator, right here, let's do right after we initialize our attributes, let's do a check race right there because we've defaulted it. Okay, so yeah, let's do that. All right. Okay, so now we just need to do for our what is it I'm wanting to do? Oh, for the well, actually, yeah, we just need to do it for the other part, which is just going to be copy and paste the same basic concept, except now I'm going to be adjusting fortitude, will, and all of those. By this point, you probably get the idea of what we're doing. So there's the basic code backbone of the rest of these videos. Like I said in the very first part, I am sure there's a better way to do this, but this whole series was intended to teach lists and dictionaries and enumerators and that kind of stuff. So that's really kind of the focus of what we're doing, as well as loading, saving text files and stuff like that. All right. At any rate, any questions, just let me know. I'll do my best to answer them if I can.